Democrats on the offense, not holding back on the floor of the House of Representatives. You love to see it. Here we have Democratic Congressmember Jim McGovern from Massachusetts. Let's play it.
I mean, I thought this election was about lowering costs. What the hell happened? I thought it was about securing the border. I thought it was about making sure that our communities are safe. Not whatever the hell these pardons are. These pardons are sick. They are offensive. They are un-American. And I don't ever want to hear about law and order from your side again, Mr. Speaker, when your side is letting criminals back on the streets. Criminals who beat cops and tried to overthrow our government. 1,500 criminals, including over 600 who were charged with violently assaulting police officers.
And McGovern keeps on going in. Here he is right here. Let's play it.
Trump is abandoning the blue. He could have chosen to let out only the nonviolent offenders, but he let out people who beat the cops, and that tells you all that you need to know.
Next, we have Democratic Congressmember Jamie Raskin. You know that he's not going to hold back with this behavior of the MAGA Republicans and the oligarch tech bros who are basically pulling Donald Trump's little puppet strings. Play the clip.
The gentleman's recognized.
I rise in opposition to S5. All these fine speeches, all these fancy parties with billionaires and congressmen in tuxedos, all these executive orders for big oil and the tech oligarchs, all these complete and unconditional pardons for Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and violent extremists who chanted, "Hang Mike Pence," and smashed, swarmed, and wounded our police officers in this building with steel poles, baseball bats, American flags, Confederate battle flags, and bear mace. All this sound and fury on day one and week one, but nothing to bring down grocery prices, nothing to bring down the cost of rent as they promised, nothing to improve our healthcare system or build on our success in the last Congress in reducing prescription drug prices, nothing to get health insurance coverage for millions of people who don't have it, nothing to bring down the cost of housing or build new housing, nothing to combat the nightmare of climate change other than the full-scale retreat of withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord, nothing to address the real problems faced by the American people. So today they want to change the subject from the indelible and shocking public safety disaster of the president releasing hundreds of convicted felons, specifically violent cop-beating felons caught on tape in the act, whom he had incited on January 6, 2021, back into the population with no plan for protecting the American people or the public safety. So what do they want to talk about today in their wisdom? Public safety.
And Congressmember Raskin just telling it like it is. Let's play it.
President Trump told House Republicans to tank this popular bipartisan agreement, to sink it. He didn't want a bipartisan border solution to improve things in the real world. He wanted a permanent border crisis to run against on TV. Not doing anything means that Trump doesn't offend his big business supporters who want cheap foreign labor under the current regime, but it allows him to pander indefinitely to his mega base with nativist rhetoric and tiny little messaging bills that move a few words around but don't fundamentally change anything. We should add to the tough border measures already negotiated last Congress a meaningful pathway to citizenship proposed for Dreamers, TPS holders, and other law-abiding, productive immigrants.
You know who also was on fire? AOC. Here she is talking about Donald Trump's unconditional pardons and commutations for the worst scum of the world, the January 6 seditionists, and those who engaged in terroristic conduct, who tried to attack and kill police, who led to the death of police officers. Here's AOC. Let's play it.
Remember, Mr. Speaker, I want the American people to know with eyes wide open what is inside this bill. Because we stand here just 2 days after President Trump gave unconditional pardons to violent criminals who attacked our nation's capital on January 6th. And these are the people who want you to believe, who want us to believe that they're trying to quote unquote keep criminals off the streets. When they are opening the floodgates.
Here's AOC again talking about how what Trump and these broligarchs want to do is give all of this money to private prisons and to prop up the private prison establishment for their bloody mass deportation and migrant raids. Play this clip.
Mr. Speaker, you may wonder why so many of our friends across the aisle who care so deeply about the rule of law happen to be so desperate to pass this bill after they are unleashing people who attacked police officers here on this Capitol into roaming our streets, who are publicly saying now they want to get a gun. Suddenly, these folks care about public safety? I don't think so. Look no further than the price tag of this bill, $83 billion. They know that it can't be paid for. They know that the capacity is not there. And you know what will be there? Private prison companies are going to get flooded with money, who give this money, no doubt. I want folks at home to look. Look at what members of Congress are invested in private prison companies who receive this kind of money, and look at the votes on this bill. It is atrocious that people are lining their pockets with private prison profits in the name of a horrific tragedy and the victim of a crime. It is shameful. It is absolutely shameful.
And by the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't deny it. She's like, bet, that's what we want. Here, play the clip.
Thank you. Well, I certainly hope we do open as many prisons as possible to round up as many illegal aliens that have invaded our country and those that are breaking our laws, killing our citizens, women and children, and causing complete havoc across our great land.
Going back to Democratic Congress member Jim McGovern, he says it takes a lot of nerve, MAGA Republicans, for you to come here and lecture us about law and order. Play this clip.
I support it, and I proudly support this rule. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Georgia reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I think it takes a lot of nerve to come down here and talk to us about law and order when the gentleman who just spoke was at a D.C. jail celebrating the release of people who attacked and beat cops here in this Capitol, who almost killed them. Some died as a result of their injuries. And I know my Republican friends don't want to defend these parties because what the president did was indefensible. He couldn't release these people who attacked our police officers quick enough. He couldn't release them quick enough.
Let's go into some of these committees. Jamie Raskin's just doing a great job in the Judiciary Committee, ranking member. Here he is talking about how realize that Donald Trump now wants to just revoke the Constitution, take away section or the 14th Amendment and say it doesn't exist. Okay, strict textualists and originalists. Here, play the clip.
Unbelievable that a lot of my friends on the other side of the aisle are sitting by idly while Donald Trump proposes by executive order to destroy Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, which establishes that everybody born in the United States is a citizen of the United States. And yet they just let that go. All of these originalists and textualists who claim to care about what the Constitution stands for, that was the whole purpose and meaning of the 14th Amendment. And now they want to destroy birthright citizenship in America, moving to a citizenship based on race instead of a citizenship based on place, which was the whole purpose of the 14th Amendment, to overturn the Dred Scott decision. Well, we're obviously going to have some differences moving forward because they don't want real solutions. They just want to demagogue the immigration issue. That doesn't move America forward. It's just like they demagogue the issue of inflation. They said they were going to bring down prices in rent, in utilities, energy costs. They said they were going to bring down the price of groceries. Not a single peep from them about that on day one. No, it's just about releasing all the violent insurrectionists, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers who are out there today saying that they want revenge.
That's the real program for America. But
Jamie Raskin, again, Congressmember Raskin, talking about the rule of law at this committee hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chairman began by saying the point here is to restore the rule of law. Restore the rule of law. Can you even pretend to do that if you stand by and support Donald Trump, who on day one, as the chairman of the committee just said, day one of his presidency, pardoned 1,500 insurrectionists, including hundreds of people who violently assaulted and attacked American police officers? Let's just take one person who is free today, Julian Cater, who had been convicted after having every due process protection, the right to counsel, the right to cross-examine witnesses, the right to introduce evidence, but they had him completely. They knew exactly what happened. Most of this was videotaped so the whole world could see it. Well, Julian Cater repeatedly violently assaulted our officer protecting us in Congress, Officer Brian Sicknick, who then proceeded to have several strokes and died on January the 7th, 2021, the next day. The family of Officer Sicknick is absolutely devastated and demolished by what's just happened. I invite any of my colleagues, including the members new to this committee who maybe weren't here on January 6th and didn't experience the trauma of that violent insurrection when we saw a mob marauding through here yelling, "Hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence," and looking to assassinate Nancy Pelosi. And now you have the temerity to come forward and say this is about public safety? How much safer are we now with these 1,500 criminals at large in Washington, D.C. and going out into the country? Are you vouching that these people are not going to be attacking any other police officers? Are you vouching that they're no longer a threat to public safety? What an outrage. What a scandal.
By the way, did you see what one of these broligarchs, how they're trying to justify it? It's so pathetic as they kiss the ring. This is Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase. I mean, this guy's lost his spine. This is so pathetic. Here he's like, we're okay with inflation. What are we talking about? Inflation? We're good with inflation if it helps national security. First off, it doesn't help national security, and y'all are just a bunch of gaslighters, to put it mildly. Play the clip.
Yeah, look, I look at tariffs. They are an economic tool. That's it. They're an economic weapon, depending how you use it and why you use it and stuff like that. And, people argue, is it inflationary and non-inflationary? I would put in perspective, if it's a little inflationary, but it's good for national security, so be it. I mean, get over it.
And here is Democratic Congress member Tom Swazi, New York's 3rd Congressional District. We got the exclusive on this. Let's play it.
Hey, everybody. I've told everyone, anyone who will listen at least, that I will work with President Trump. I'll work with the Republicans to try and address some of the problems we face here in our country. Secure the border, help reduce the cost of living, help build the middle class, make people safer. Let's work together. Let's try and find common ground to work together to make our country better. But some things, I just don't understand. Today, the Fraternal Order of Police came out and said that when President Trump pardoned people from January 6th that beat up cops, that's beyond the pale. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make any sense to me either. This week here in Congress, we're voting on a law that we're going to deport criminals, and the Senate just made the law tougher. It's called the Lake and Riley Act. They're going to make the law tougher by saying we have to deport people that assault police officers. Yes, good. Let's do that. I support that idea. But here at the same time, this week, the president did a 1,500 person blanket pardon of people that beat up cops. One case that really bugs me is the case of Daniel Rodriguez, who on January 6th came to the Capitol when a police officer was getting beaten up, was down on the ground. People were assaulting him, yelling, some guy saying, kill him, kill him. Rodriguez comes up and tases the police officer in the neck. As a result, the guy had a heart attack and traumatic brain injury. On top of that, after it all happened, he sent a text out to his buddies that said, I just tased the you-know-what out of the blue. I just did all this stuff and I got away. Well, he ended up pleading guilty. He got a 12-year jail sentence and President Trump just pardoned him. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand that. So we've got this problem where we want to deport criminals, especially criminals that assault police officers. Back in New York, we're concerned about the fact that people who are assaulting cops are getting let out of jail, and then they beat cops up again. And then they get let out again to beat up somebody else. Now, what's to say that these guys that beat up cops here in Washington, D.C. on January 6th are going to get let out and do the same thing again? So, I mean, come on, let's at least have some consistency here. Let's not be hypocrites. Let's try and hold people accountable for the crimes that they commit. I'll work with the Republicans. I'll work with President Trump to get stuff done. But let's have a little consistency.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Dems on the offense. Love to see it. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 500,000 followers.